From Fox News, Rep. Nancy Mace demands death penalty for South Carolina murder suspect, urging Attorney General Bondi to step in. Rep. Nancy Mace is pushing for the death penalty in the case of Alexander Dickey, accused of murdering 22-year-old college student Logan Federico during a home invasion in South Carolina. Dickey, a convicted felon with 40 arrests, allegedly shot Federico at point-blank range after a crime spree involving drugs, burglaries, and theft. Logan's father, Stephen Federico, calls Dickey a lunatic on a rampage and supports federal intervention, criticizing state prosecutors for being soft on crime. Mace urges Attorney General Pam Bondi to take over, citing Trump's executive order and potential federal charges under the Hobbs Act. From CNN, judge temporarily blocks Trump's National Guard deployment in Portland. A federal judge in Oregon has issued a temporary restraining order blocking President Trump's deployment of the National Guard to Portland, calling it unconstitutional. The administration cited unrest at an ICE facility, but the judge ruled protests weren't violent enough to justify military intervention, violating the 10th Amendment. Oregon officials, including Governor Tina Kotek, praised the decision, arguing there's no rebellion and local forces can handle it. The order lasts 14 days. The White House plans to appeal. Similar moves are happening in Chicago amid immigration protests. From ABC News, protesters shot in Chicago by Border Patrol agents who allege they were ambushed. U.S. Border Patrol agents shot and wounded a woman in Chicago, claiming she was part of a convoy that ambushed and rammed their vehicles during immigration protests. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem described the incident as self-defense, alleging the woman Miramar Martinez was armed and had threatened agents. Martinez and another driver were arrested. DHS calls protesters domestic terrorists with plans to ambush officers. Amid this, Trump is federalizing 300 Illinois National Guard troops against Governor J.B. Pritzker's wishes to support ICE operations. From USA Today, a university censorship conference gets censored. This is Trump's America. Opinion. Organizers at Weber State University canceled a conference on censorship due to restrictions from a Utah anti-DEI law, which barred labeling policies as harmful or partisan. The law, signed by Utah's Republican governor, affected non-academic programming, leading speakers to back out over limits on discussing politics. Professor Richard Price called it forced dishonesty, part of a broader Republican push against higher education, including firings in other states. An ad hoc outdoor event on academic freedom was held instead, highlighting fears of eroding free speech rights nationwide. From The Guardian, Kristi Noem calls Chicago a war zone after federal agents shot women. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem called Chicago a war zone after federal agents shot a woman during protests against ICE raids, defending the National Guard deployment. The woman, a U.S. citizen armed with a semi-automatic, was injured in an alleged ambush. Noem accused local leaders like Mayor Brandon Johnson of lying. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker countered that the administration is fueling the crisis, demanding they leave as Trump federalizes 300 Guard troops. This follows similar deployments in other cities, part of Trump's immigration crackdown amid escalating tensions. From Newsweek, NATO scrambles fighter jets as Russian strikes kill entire family. Poland and NATO scrambled fighter jets as Russia launched over 50 missiles and 500 drones on Ukraine, killing 5, including an entire family near Lviv. Targets included energy infrastructure. Russia claims it hit military sites with hypersonic missiles. Zelensky calls for more air defense. Foreign Minister Sybiha urges pressure on Russia's energy revenues to stop the terror. No airspace violations detected, but tensions rise amid stalled U.S.-Russia peace talks and threats over U.S. missile supplies to Ukraine. And as always, thank you for the like, comment, and subscription.